Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here at Veterans Active Community Living on honor guests, faculty, and students. I would like to welcome you to William Blount High School's Veterans Day program. We're gathered here today to honor and remember those who have served our sacrifice. The first Veterans Day was declared National Day of Remembrance by President Woodrow Wilson in 1990. We celebrate this day on the anniversary of the Armistice that ended World War I, the truce that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. Since President Wilson established this day of remembrance, the significance of Veterans Day has grown. It has evolved from a day focused solely on honoring those lost in one war to a national day when we recognize all veterans from every conflict and those who served in times of peace. On Tuesday, at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Americans across the country will pause to remember, honor, and express gratitude to those who have worn our nation's uniform. Today, our gathering here is one small but meaningful way to pay tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. Their presence here today, along with gatherings across the nation this Veterans Day, is a testament to our collective remembrance and gratitude. To our veterans, whether you serve in times of peace or during conflict, our message of William Blount is clear. Thank you. Thank you for your unwavering commitment, your bravery, and countless sacrifices you've made so that we can live freely today. Now, as we prepare for our Father's tribute, please rise to the presentation of colors and remain standing for our pledge of allegiance. Color guard, post color.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to recognize the veterans who joined us today for the William Blount High School Annual Veterans Day celebration. The faculty and students, thank you for coming today. It is our goal to properly honor all that you have done for our nation and to recognize your families for their support. In the words of your students, our guests, the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America
I'm 9 inch up.
Thanks for that great introduction, Cadet Moss. I have absolutely nothing to talk about. Good morning. Thank you to the William Blount administration, Principal Crabtree, and the faculty for prioritizing Veterans Day today. Student classroom time, I know and understand it comes at a premium and is limited.
So thank you for recognizing the importance of instilling values like gratitude, respect, hard work, and service in our promising young people that you're seeing here this morning. Thank you also for allowing me to share in this impressive ceremony with our local veterans today, our brothers and sisters in arms. Special thank you also to Chief Master Sergeant and Mayor for your invitation and for the top-notch job that you, the William Blount Air Force JROTC program, the William Blount Band, Singers, and Theater Department are doing today. Let's give them a hand. All right, so I know what all of you are thinking. Who is this hobo, and what does he know about being in the military? I'd be asking the same question if I were you guys. So I just retired this year. I'm still in the traditional one-year shaving sabbatical that a lot of us go through when we make that transition. Could last longer, who knows? But we're trying our hand at farming, and I find that the goats listen to you a little better if you kind of look like one. So I thank you for extending a new veteran a little grace and not being in dress uniform this morning. I took a walk yesterday, and I was taking in the brisk air, reflecting, and just asking God what I should talk to you all about this morning. I was thinking about sharing the long lineage of Tennessee volunteer veterans from conflicts all throughout history, from which we all enjoy a very proud history. But I came away from that walk with just the impression to simply share my story. Our stories are one of the most powerful tools that all of us have. I don't mind public speaking so much, but one thing I really don't enjoy and gives me the heebie-jeebies is talking about myself. I prefer to stay in the background like a lot of veterans, do my job, and a master at deflecting to get others to talk about themselves, which usually but I think many of us have a tendency to look at someone and think, I could never do that, without really having an appreciation of how they got there. Sometimes it's helpful to go back and hear how the story developed. So if you'll pop the time machine with me this morning, we're going to go all the way back to the 1900s. It was 1995, the junior William Blount High School. It was the time of technical jeans, Doc Martin, silk shirts, and hairspray. I drove to school way too fast every morning, rusted out 87 Ford Tempo that my mamaw gave me, while listening to Weezer, Green Day, and Smashing Pumpkins. Put that car into a couple ditches listening to that music. I see what his old is doing. I couldn't afford to keep up with the fashion trends, but I was trying real hard to be cool. I had Miss Lane for English and drama, who the auditorium is named after. Here's your trivia answers. I had Coach Wallace for health class, who whistled the dashes, who the gym is named after. And I had Coach Skip Murray for football and chemistry, who used to say, "Son, that's hot!" when he burned himself on the Bunsen burner doing science experiments. Who the stadium is now named after. 4 of my class's yearbooks are on display in a display case in the guidance counselor hallway. So walking these halls after being gone for almost 30 years feels pretty surreal. I had a lot of friends, but I wasn't very popular and didn't really fit into any group. I wrestled, ran track, and played football nearly year-round, but I was a late bloomer and wasn't a great athlete, as you can see from the one patch on my leg. I was in drama and performed in a couple school musicals, but didn't really fit in with the theater crowd. I enjoyed drafting and architectural drawing, but didn't mesh with the auto body and the shop folks. I was kind of intelligent, but lacked study skills and struggled to find relevance in the classroom, so I wasn't embraced by the brains. confidence, and direction. So I did what you do when you have no idea what to do with your life. I went to college. And I spent money my parents didn't have, trying to find myself, mostly because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. It was an amazing time at the University of Tennessee. Peyton Manning was quarterback for the Vols. We were whipping up on Florida State. Fans were ripping down the goalpost and nailing stadium, leading up to the winning national championship in '98. But I was completely alone and lost on that big campus. All I could think about was that I needed to go to a good school, get a good grade, so I could get a good job, make good money, get married, have 2.5 kids in a nice house with a white picket fence. And absolutely none of that sounded inspiring to me at the time. As far as I was concerned, my life was over. So I dropped out of UT and joined the Army as a private, where my thirst for adventure, kinesthetic learning style, and idealist philosophy excelled. While in airborne school, before getting ready to jump out of an airplane, an officer recommended that I check out the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, when I got to my unit. So after a few years, I quickly forgot about it, but after a few years in the not-so-exciting electronics maintenance job that my uncle had talked me into, I finally heeded his advice and got up the nerve to apply to West Point. I stayed up late writing essays, interviewed with my congressman, who was Lamar Alexander at the time, the whole bit. I remember I had been released from my unit on leave and was sitting in his waiting room here in town waiting to be called in. I was wearing my dress green uniform, perfectly bloused, spit-shine jump boots, badges and ribbons on my chest, maroon beret in my hand, sitting next to another applicant in a suit who was also competing for a Service Academy nomination. All I can remember is how intimidated I was of him, thinking he was probably valedictorian, class president and homecoming king of his school. It wasn't until a long time later that I realized he was probably just as intimidated as me. To my great surprise, I was accepted to West Point, despite my mediocre high school GPA. Sorry, teachers. Thankfully, the Service Academy is considered a whole person concept, so my enlisted service likely got me in the door. Academics crushed me every day, but I endured and blew off steam, jumping out of the superintendent's helicopter every day on the sport parachute team, where I won collegiate nationals my sophomore year and graduated with a bachelor's in organizational leadership. I completed a master's degree in international studies 10 years later, all for the low, low price of $3.99. I met my now wife of 20 years, Lieutenant Colonel retired Sarah Moffett at West Point. Let's give her a hand. We'll wrap up some brownie points. Come on up here. Who is an accomplished leader in her own right and mother of our 3 beautiful daughters, 2 of whom are on a class field trip today. After graduation, I became an infantry platoon leader, Sarah, a military intelligence officer. I went through Ranger School, was selected for Special Forces, and became a Green Beret. I went through survival school, military free fall, hostage rescue, close-quarter shooting, surveillance and reconnaissance, dive training, tactical driving, unconventional warfare, and many other types of advanced training. With each small step, I grew in confidence, eager to try something else I didn't think I was capable of. I commanded organizations at multiple levels, like a lot of you deployed to a lot of scary places all over the world, and finished up as the battalion commander of the U.S. Army Parachute Team, known as the Golden Knights, where we performed aerial parachute demonstrations for the American public all over the country. You can check them out on Instagram. We also got the opportunity last year to jump into France for the 80th commemoration of the D-Day invasion during World War II, which was quite an honor. The military developed us, gave us discipline, the opportunity to hone our leadership, make mistakes, build teams, train foreign militaries, manage budgets, collect intelligence, lead troops in combat, and mentor the men and women entrusted to our care. So why do I share this with you? What's the moral of the story? I share these accomplishments with you not to glorify myself, but to give all glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. made us and gave himself up for us. And to share with you that the beginning does not determine the end. God was with me every step of the way and had a plan for my life from the beginning, even though there were many times when it looked like all was lost. But while people judge us from the outside, God looks at our heart. He has an adventurous plan for your life too, if you will but submit to his ways, seek his face, and allow him to gently lead you. The Bible says, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. So be patient with yourself. A castle isn't built overnight, and we're all a work in progress. As the Apostle Paul wrote to his friends, I gladly boast in my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest on me. For when I am weak, then am I strong. This profound paradox frees us from the fear of failure, knowing that true strength doesn't rely on our own power anyway, but in humbly recognizing our limitations and depending on his grace. God bless you. So go out and try something hard you don't think you can do. Don't be afraid to go out on a limb and saw it off behind you. Learn to view failure as a way to grow faster than the old you who was afraid to try. Sign up for some responsibility and feel the weight on your shoulders. You might just be surprised at what you're capable of. You don't have to look far to see the world has a lot of problems, so become a problem solver. You can start now. The Bible says, don't let anybody look down on you because you're young. I'm continually impressed by the creativity and innovation your generation is bringing to the table at a young age. You were made to be unique and have talents, gifts, and personality that are unique to only you. That's your strength. So think for yourself. Don't try to fit in somebody else's mold or be persuaded by the popular trends of the day. All right, that's probably enough forced encouragement for one day. Thank you for having us. We're grateful to live in a place where people all over the country want to be right here in Tennessee. Not just because of the beauty of the Smokies, but because of the historical volunteer spirit that sacrifices for others and the values you all bravely model every day. We care deeply about all of you and are glad to be back home and a part of this community again. Go Doves.
bronze statue in the world, and depicts one of the most famous photographs in history. That of the 6 brave men raising the American flag at the top of Mount Suribachi on the island of Iwo Jima, Japan, during World War II. 6 Marines raised the flag during the largest land battle in the Pacific theater of World War II. The first Marine placing the pole on the ground is Arnold Blount. Arnold was an all-state football player. He enlisted in the Marine Corps with all the senior members of the football team. Arnold, at the age of 21, died on the battlefield with his intestines in his hands. It should be known that most of the boys on Iwo Jima were 18 and 19 years old, and most of them who made it home found it too hard to talk about the war, even to their own parents. The second Marine was PFC Harold Kelly. Harold was born in Brooklyn, Iowa in 1921 and served in the Marines from 1942 to 1945. Harold survived the Battle of Iwo Jima and the rest of the war. Later in life, he named his son after a close friend who was mortally wounded at the bottom of Mount Suribachi, the very hill where he helped raise the U.S. flag. He died in 1979 in his home state of Iowa at the age of 57. The third Marine in the statue was Sergeant Mike Strang. He was the hero of these young Marines, and they called him the Old Man because he was 24 years old. In training, he knew who he was working with. He never said, "Let's go kill the enemy," or "Let's go die for our country." No. Instead, he would tell them, "Do what I say, and I'll get you home to your mothers." The fourth Marine on the statue was Ira Hayes, a Pima Indian from Arizona. Ira was one of the men who walked away from Iwo Jima alive. He went to the White House, where Harry Truman told him, "You're a hero." He later told reporters, "How can I be like a hero when 250 of my buddies hit the island with me, and only 27 of us made it all alive?" Ira lived with images of horror in his mind. The incredible pain overwhelmed him. He turned to alcohol and tragically died at the age of 42. The fifth Marine was Franklin Saucy from Hilltop, Kentucky. Franklin was a fun-living hillbilly. Frank and a friend once pinned 2 cows on the front porch of the Hilltop General Store and left them there overnight. Those cows made it there overnight. Yes, Franklin loved his practical jokes. He died on Iwo Jima at the age of 19. When his mother got the telegram back in Hilltop that her son was dead, Neighbors could hear her cries of grief all night. Those neighbors lived a quarter mile away. The sixth Marine in the statue is PFC Harold Schultz from Detroit, Michigan. Harold volunteered for the Marines at the age of 18. He entered the service on December 23, 1943. He trained in California and Hawaii before being thrusted straight into battle during the invasion of Iwo Jima. Harold was wounded in action on March 13, 1945, and was evacuated off the island. He was honorably discharged from the Marines on October 17, 1945, and lived until 1995 in California. This is the story of the 6 men in this statue. 3 died on Iwo Jima, 3 came home. 7,000 men died on Iwo Jima in the worst battle in the history of the Marine Corps. Freedom is a blessing we enjoy, but it is not free. There is no greater sacrifice than he who laid down his own life for his fellow men. May God have a place with him for those who have laid their lives down for us. If you count the hands raising the flag on the statue, there are 13. When the sculptor was asked why there were 13, he simply said, the 13th hand was the hand of God.
Front and center of this one is a table with a folded flag in the center. The flag represents all those who sacrificed so that we may enjoy the freedoms and opportunities few countries have today. Well, every branch of service fights as one United States military force, each possesses its own unique history and heritage. This morning, let us honor those traditions. Let us honor the United States Army. Established on the 14th of June, 1775, by the same Continental Congress, the Army's mission is to provide land dominance by deploying, fighting, and winning the nation's wars through various forms of land warfare and combined arms operations. From Gettysburg to Normandy, from Bunker Hill to Hamburger Hill, from Lexington to Kandahar, men and women like George Washington, Ulysses S. Grant, George Patton, Audie Murphy, Clint Eastwood, and Alvin York served in historic units like the 101st Airborne, the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment's Old Corps, the 7th Cavalry Regiment, and the Green Berets. The United States Army is honored by Cadet Caitlin White. Let us honor the United States Marine Corps. Established by the same Continental Congress on the 10th of November, 1775, as an elite expeditionary force under the Department of the Navy, the Marines are known for their first to fight rolling conflicts, amphibious operations, and global crisis responses. From Bella Villa to Iwo Jima, from Trenton to Ramadi, from the Battle of New Orleans to Fallujah, men and women like Gregory Pappy Boyington, Joseph Barcelona, Daniel Dan Daly, Louis Chesty Pollard, Steve McQueen, and John Glenn served in legendary units like the 1st Marine Division, the 2-5, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, the Devil Dogs of World War I, and the Raider Regiment. The United States Marine Corps is honored by Cadet Victoria Moss. Let us honor the United States Navy. Established on the 13th of October, 1775, by the same Continental Congress, it is the world's most powerful and technologically advanced naval force. The Navy's mission is to maintain, train, and equip naval forces to win wars, deter aggression, and maintain freedom of the seas. From the Battle of Chesapeake to Pearl Harbor, from Tripoli Harbor to the Coral Sea, from Midway to Oklahoma, men and women like John Paul Jones, Chief Petty Officer James Williams, John F. Kennedy, Neil Armstrong, Roger Staubach, and Chris Kyle served in naval units like the 7th Fleet, the Jolly Rogers, the Navy SEALs, the USS Yorktown, and USS Constitution. The United States Navy is honored by Cadet Bailey Simmel. Let us honor the United States Air Force. Established on the 18th of September, 1947, by the National Security Act of 1947, this branch is responsible for air and space superiority, to fly, fight, and win with overwhelming air power and support. From the Berlin airlift to Hurricane Katrina relief, from Operations Linebacker 1 and 2 to shock and awe over Iraq, from Desert Storm to the recent bombings of an Iraqi nuclear facility, men and women like Pat Arnold, Billy Mitchell, Chuck Yeager, Benjamin O. Davis Jr., Johnny Cash, and Daniel Chappie James served in honored units like Strategic Air Command, the Mighty 8th Air Force, the Triple Nickel 334th Fighter Squadron, and the Tuskegee Airmen. The United States Air Force is honored by Cadet Caitlin Weinbach. Let us honor the United States Coast Guard. Originally established as a revenue cutter service in 1790, this branch was renamed the Coast Guard on the 28th of January 1915. The Coast Guard's core missions include protecting ports and waterways, conducting search and rescue operations, and enforcing maritime laws, ensuring marine safety, and responding to environmental incidents. From revenue enforcement to Northland Patrol in Greenland, from the Battle of Pyrenees to the Bloody Winter Battle of the Atlantic, from rescue missions in D-Day to relief efforts after every hurricane disaster, men and women like Douglas Monroe, Dorothy Stratton, Arnold Palmer, and Jeff and Bo Bridges served in prestigious units like the Marine Security Response Teams, National Strike Force, and the USCG's Tamaroa and Haley. United States Coast Guard, which is honored by Cadet Jaden Millsaps. Let us honor the United States Space Force. Created on the 20th of December 2019 by the National Defense Authorization Act, the mission of our youngest branch is to ensure space superiority, protect U.S. and allied interests in space, provide global space operations, and ensure space access to military and national objectives. The Space Force's current objectives include today's space shuttle missions, the X-37B orbital test vehicle, satellite protection, and missile warning systems. Men and women like Mike Hopkins, Anna Gunn-Dolphin, Jay Raymond, and Roger Toberman are early architects of unique units like Space Force One, Vandenberg Space Force Base, and Patrick Space Force Base. The United States Space Force is honored by Cadet Michaela Pack. At this time, if you are able, please stand as we honor the men, the women, the units, and the directions of the world's greatest military. The Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Space Force. This is your United States military. Cadets, post.
Thank you, Mr. Noah Toon, Ms. Steve Tangley, and the William Blount Band. Thank you, Mr. Chris Cliff and the William Blount Choir. Thank you, Colonel Lawson, Chief Engineer, and our AFJ ROTC. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Martin. Thank you, students and faculty, for recognizing and thanking our veterans. And most importantly, thank you, veterans, for protecting our freedoms, our rights, and the opportunities afforded to all of us. Color Guard, retired colors. This concludes today's ceremony. May God bless the United States of America.
Veterans, while we dismiss, feel free to remain until all students are dismissed. We're trying to do this in an orderly fashion. At this time, Freshman Academy, you are free to go.